Thank you for joining us for this look at some of the best stories from KPBS News this week. I'm John Carroll. Coming up, isolation among immigrant communities. Health experts warn of the lasting consequences of what's been a stressful year. Public media took a hit in 2025. Months after a loss of federal funding, we checked back in with San Diego's other public media station to see how it's surviving. And a look back on Port of Entry's busy year. From events to collaborations, the team behind the KPBS podcast reflect on the stories told in our cross-border region. This weekend brings a return of king tides to San Diego's coast. That's the phenomenon when changes in ocean water levels are at their greatest. The effects go beyond our beaches. KPBS SciTech reporter Thomas Fudge tells us about changes to the environment around Mission Bay.
This weekend, the California coast will see high tides about 1.5 feet above normal. These king tides occur when the gravitational force of the moon and the sun are at their greatest, pulling our oceans to extremes. Of course, the effect is also seen in bays and estuaries. I'm standing on a bridge over Rose Creek, which flows into Mission Bay back there. The habitat along the shores is called salt marsh. And the impact on this environment will get the attention of certain people coming out here on Saturday morning to observe the king tides. Karen Zirk with Friends of Rose Creek says king tides give us our best look at the reality of rising sea levels.
What the Coastal Commission is telling us is that the king tide is approximately what an average high tide will be by 2050.
So, the king tides we see on Saturday will just be a normal high tide 25 years from now. What does that mean?
Places like Mission Bay High, which is right over here, are going to be at high flood risk, especially if the high tide coincides with a lot of rain. They're going to be underwater.
We have some nice birds around here. We have some coots, which have little white beaks and black heads. There's a widgeon right out there that sounds like a dog squeaky toy a little bit when you hear him chattering.
Savannah Stallings is the conservation advocate for the San Diego Bird Alliance. What she also sees here is wildlife habitat created by coastal salt marshes. Rising sea levels in the future will force those salt marshes to migrate inland, but not if the built environment stands in their way.
That can migrate over time as sea levels rise. Then, there will be marsh remaining as the water levels rise. But if, you have lower marsh and mid-marsh and then a parking lot, there's nowhere for the marsh to go, and so it will disappear.
Coastal cities are looking at ways for the man-made environment to retreat from the coast as oceans get higher. Stallings says we have to ask the same questions about the future of the natural environment.
As this area is redeveloped, as the De Anza Natural Plan moves forward, the city needs to really think seriously about where the marsh will migrate over time so that, it's not like an entirely bad thing and the habitat doesn't completely disappear, because otherwise it will.
On Saturday, the Friends of Rose Creek and the San Diego Bird Alliance will host a gathering of volunteers who will take pictures of the king tide levels. The public is invited to come, and the information they gather will be shared with the California King Tides Project. Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.
This holiday season, many immigrant families are staying home, not by choice, but out of fear. KPBS health reporter Heidi DeMarco says as immigration enforcement ramps up, health experts warn the isolation it's causing could have lasting consequences.
For some immigrant families, this holiday season is marked by isolation, not because they want to be alone, but because fear of immigration enforcement is keeping them inside. UCSD psychiatrist Dr. Shan Singh Sidhu compares the moment to another public health crisis.
We've seen how much COVID has impacted kids and families. Now imagine another COVID, if you will, for certain populations that lasts 4 years.
A new survey from KFF and the New York Times shows that about 41% of immigrants say they worry that they or someone in their family could be detained or deported. That's up from 26% just 2 years ago. Sidhu says fear is cutting people off from the very things that help them cope.
So when people are feeling so scared that they can't go out, they can't spend time with people that they care about, they can't go to work, they can't go to school, all of that identity and that resilience gets stripped away.
He says the consequences are already showing up.
We are living in truly unprecedented times, times in which people really do feel like they're not able to leave their home.
Sidhu worries the impact could last well beyond the holidays.
The damage from the first pandemic really is something that we're still struggling to overcome and will continue to for several years. I don't think it's an overstatement to say that what some of these families are going through in the next 4 years may end up having really lifelong implications for them.
For now, he says, even small acts of connection matter, especially in a season meant for gathering.
This holiday season, not to see them as different or other or less human than we are, but to open our hearts, open our communities, open our homes, so that people can feel like they actually are able to celebrate this and be a part of our community and feel welcome.
Heidi DeMarco, KPBS News.
8 years ago this week, recreational marijuana sales became legal in California. That's also opened up new revenue streams for local governments. San Diego recently raised its cannabis business tax to help fill a budget hole. But KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen says the move is not going as well as the city hoped.
San Diego finance officials are projecting a shortfall in revenue from the city's cannabis business tax. The city says the industry still struggles with competition from the untaxed illicit market. Kimberly Sims is a San Diego-based attorney in the cannabis industry. She says she's not surprised the tax hike is backfiring.
As the cost of living continues to rise all around us, people have to make choices. And if there's readily available cannabis on the illicit market and you continue to make it more and more expensive on the regulated market, people are going to be driven back to the illicit market.
San Diego has doubled its cannabis business tax since it was approved by voters in 2016. This year, the city council raised it to 10% for both retailers and manufacturers of cannabis products. Meanwhile, Encinitas has a cannabis tax rate of 7% for retail outlets and 4% for manufacturers. La Mesa taxes retailers at 4% and manufacturers at 2.5%. Sims says cannabis taxes are not a panacea for local budget woes, and San Diego may be losing business to the suburbs.
Cities are realizing that, it's better to have some piece of the pie than no piece of the pie. And I think if we continue to see this trend of increasing taxes, then it just continues to bolster the illicit market.
San Diego has also allowed dispensaries to stay open later, but the city's independent budget analyst says some shops are not opting for extended hours, and that's contributing to the shortfall. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
Sign up for our newsletters to get a list of our most popular stories. Here are some from this week. Camp Pendleton Marines maintain a presence at the border under a new legal designation. Our latest Why It Matters segment, the San Diego Unified School Board reconsiders options for an employee housing project. And for the first time, the Holiday Bowl and Parade will take place after New Year's Day in San Diego. There are a lot of things that make San Diego the great place it is, including the fact we have not one, but two great public radio stations. So when federal budget cuts hit this summer, both KPBS and KSDS Jazz 88.3 took big hits. I dropped by earlier this week to see how San Diego's other public radio station is weathering the storm.
San Diego's Jazz 88.3, Dwayne Clemens out front with the trumpet.
This isn't Gary Beck's first time at the radio rodeo.
Oh my God, 52 years this October.
Beck was born in San Diego, and he got his start here, but he's also been on the air in Los Angeles and New York. He's been back on the air at KSDS for 15 years now. In the last half century, he's seen and heard it all. With all that under his broadcast belt, he's content to spend his last years at one of the last true jazz radio stations in the U.S. You get to play the music, unlike all those other stations, you get to play the music you like.
We pick it, yeah. We all add something to the station, and we know the music. If you didn't know the music, you couldn't do it.
We visited KSDS last August, a few days after they'd gotten the news of a more than $200,000 hole being blown right through their budget. They did a special 3-day fundraiser right after that, and they've had a membership drive since then.
I think we're about 70% maybe. So we're pretty much on schedule.
Part of General Manager Ken Poston's job is worrying about the bottom line. But as 2025 comes to a close, he's seeing positive signs.
Because, we always take in our normal amount of membership, which means this year we have to take in 200,000 more in some combination. So all indications are that we are on track to do that. But I'm just cautious but optimistic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate your support.
Part of keeping the dollars flowing in has to do with how the station positions itself. A lot of that involves reminding listeners of just how rare this place is.
San Diego is one of the last places that actually has this. And, there's just a handful of full-time jazz radio stations left.
And there's something else unique about public radio in San Diego. Other cities, like LA, have more than one station like KPBS that are NPR member stations. They, in essence, compete with one another. That's not an issue here.
We have it here to where we complement each other, the people, and there's people, we have a lot of people that support both stations.
Next stop, New Year's. Sonny Clark, Cool Strut.
Back in the on-air booth, and Gary Beck is doing his thing, keeping the jazz rolling and not worrying about the future.
With the great listeners that we have and the good staff that we have, we just keep going. You can't look over your shoulder. You got to keep going forward,
You can help keep both KSDS and KPBS moving forward. To support KSDS, just go to jazz88.org/donate. And we always welcome your support, like KSDS, in any amount that's comfortable for you. You can support us at kpbs.org, and you'll see the big blue Give Now button up in the right corner, and you have our thanks. That story is an example of how the new political climate touched so many parts of everyday life in 2025. We also saw plenty of protests as a result. KPBS is looking back on the top stories of the year with some of the reporters who covered them. Here's a portion of our KPBS News special.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute.
Well, it has been an absolute whirlwind.
First, we have a list of pardons and commutations relating to events that occurred on January 6, 2021.
And I think we knew from the gate, from the first few days of the Trump administration, part two.
You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
That we were never going to be able to keep up with it. But what we could do is pull at the most important threads. And we did that.
Researchers told KPBS's Amitha Sharma their work is now at risk if it contains language deemed problematic by the White House, including the word women.
If I can't say the word women, I can't tell you that an abortion ban is going to hurt women, or I can't document the way an abortion ban is hurting women. I guess a word that's not on here is men. And I guess a word that I don't see on here is white, so I guess we'll see what's going on with white men and what they need.
Meanwhile, UCSD researchers have already been told to scrub their websites of diversity, equity, and inclusion language, and the blows to federally funded scientific research at the university keep coming. It just lost a $35 million USAID global research grant on reproductive health and nutrition, and other federal grants are in jeopardy.
It really impeded the ability of the scientists in our community to describe what they were researching accurately.
We're so glad to see you here. Noah's here today.
Twice a week, a group of 3 to 6-year-olds and their parents gather in a small classroom in Spring Valley. It's called the Parent Empowerment Program, or PEP. The goal is to give families the tools they need to overcome behaviors like tantrums, aggression, and separation anxiety.
This is a federal grant that came out of a bipartisan
effort to fund more mental health support in schools after the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. The Department of Education awarded the La Mesa Spring Valley School District more than $12 million over the course of 5 years. In May, the Trump administration told school districts it would stop funding the grant program 2 years early.
And to have nobody come and even look at the work that we were doing, to talk about what we were doing, or to see what we were doing and how it's changing lives, and have that just be stripped from us. It was shocking, it was sad, it made me angry.
I just finished 32 years in federal government, National Weather Service. This is the first time where I was restricted, where I could go, what I could say, who I could meet with.
What kind of explanation were you given for those limitations?
Some of it was where travel was banned, basically, as simple as that, no explanation.
He put a real human face on the loss to the federal government of expertise. While Elon Musk was going in and making cuts under Doge, millions of federal employees have lost their jobs. Alex Tardy didn't lose his job. He decided to quit.
The people united will never be divided.
There's an inequity in the system that requires a response, and you're trying to take action in some way, shape, or form.
It's a moment where I think people are freaking out, and rightfully so, because in America we've never seen this kind of radical shift.
Donald Trump has got to go, hey, go, go.
An estimated 60,000 people of all ages and backgrounds peacefully joined together in downtown San Diego Saturday.
I think that the shift is that people are protesting across the country, not just in San Diego. And the protests across the country are also much larger. And so we feel like we're a part of something bigger. And it's interesting because I did that story about sort of the history of protests in San Diego. And, there is that, that protest corner, that 5th and E in downtown. And that was a major focal point and actually led to a Supreme Court decision because they banned protesting in downtown. So San Diego actually has a long and kind of deep history with protests in particular.
A statewide proposition asks voters one question: should the state temporarily redraw its congressional districts to favor Democrats?
We were hearing about here in San Diego just like lines out the door at polling places for people who wanted to register to vote on the same day so that they can actually vote.
After poking the bear, this bear roared.
They did a really good job of making it clear that, this is about the nationwide redistricting battle. This is about the country. This is about our democracy. This is about the 2026 midterm elections, which are a referendum on President Trump.
There are several ways to watch our Top Stories of 2025 special, including our streaming platforms, KPBS Plus and the KPBS YouTube page. More of our year-end coverage can be found at kpbs.org. In the coming days, free parking in Balboa Park will come to an end. So KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando suggests checking out the provocative and delightful Alfredo Castañeda Beyond Surrealism exhibit at the San Diego Museum of Art.
Enter the world and imagination of Alfredo Castañeda.
The Surrealist movement prioritized getting into the subconscious and exploring the importance of dreams separated from rational thought, rational life. You find unexpected juxtapositions, putting things together that don't necessarily make sense, but might evoke a response in the viewer, sometimes thought-provoking, sometimes comic, sometimes very deep and disturbing.
The San Diego Museum of Art is hosting the first U.S. museum retrospective of Mexican artist Alfredo Castañeda.
Seeing all of his works together, we get to see a journey over 5 decades of his work, from 1960 until his death in 2010.
Michael Brown, senior curator of European art, oversaw the installation.
Seeing something in the original is an experience that is unparalleled. In fact, we had the install team, while we were putting these paintings up, the technical expertise of Castaneda. As they were physically hanging these paintings, they could be very close to the paint surface, which allowed them to appreciate the technical expertise and the wonder of the works of art.
The texture of Castaneda's brushstrokes and the intricate patterns hidden within what first appears to be a solid color can only fully be appreciated in person.
This painting is called Enter Through the Opening, and if you look up close too, you'll see that the artist in this gold area, he has used a tool to create these rosette patterns.
Castaneda, following in the tradition of Frida Kahlo, often inserts himself into his work, serving as an emotional guide and a wry commentator.
This painting is called Waiting to Leave, and it was painted during the last year of the artist's life. The idea of crossing the river Styx at the end of one's life and safe passage being earned through the offering of a gold coin to the pilot of the boat that would go across the river Styx. When we look up close to the painting, we see that the artist is wearing a signet ring with a circular gold coin, we imagine. He is awaiting his passage across the river Styx.
Castaneda reveals a keen sense of introspection, paired with delightful whimsy, as he explores themes of migration, family histories, and family separation.
There's an imaginary sepia-toned photograph of a family. Each of the family members looks a lot like the artist himself. And so he and his family had moved from their native Mexico to Spain.
I was immediately drawn to a painting titled No.
This was really an answer to a question as to whether or not the painting was finished. The painting wasn't finished until he wrote no, and it really is one of the most modernist type things in the show, where he ultimately breaks the fourth wall with the audience.
As you look at the paintings, you start to feel Castaneda slyly smiling at you, like he has a secret he's daring you to uncover. While the themes may be dark, there always seems to be joy in the art. The museum wants to encourage people to explore the art by hanging out around a table like Castaneda used to do.
This idea of the sobremesa, or the chat around the table, where anything goes. You could talk about anything. It's a very welcoming atmosphere. We have set up, our community engagement team has set up a space for just this type of discussion, reflection.
You can reflect on Alfredo Castaneda, Beyond Surrealism, through March 1st at the San Diego Museum of Art in Balboa Park. Beth Hagamondo, KPBS News.
Rooted in San Diego and Tijuana, KPBS's bilingual podcast Port of Entry tells powerful stories from communities along the border. In 2025, the team not only produced memorable episodes, they also spent the year meeting listeners and connecting with creators across the region. Here are the team's reflections on the past year.
Connecting with the people who make that border come alive was always very important. This show doesn't exist without the people that make up this border community, so it only makes sense to be out in front of them, to connect with them in a more real way.
And at the end of the day, we're telling the stories of this community, so it's important that we get to know the community and spend time with them and listen to whatever they have to say.
The audience that was there were predominantly Port of Entry listeners or public media listeners. And so some of the questions that they had were pretty in tune with what we've done. So that was exciting.
We had a teenage girl and their mom say that, I think they grew up learning English through KPBS, right? And there's so many stories like that.
I would say 4.9 out of 5 stars with the stipulation that we could upgrade if we do more vegan food and some more art.
My only complaint would be that the taco tour hasn't happened.
Yes. I think the big thing for me was how cool it was to see so many students interested in like long form storytelling.
I thought they were all like obligated to be there. But then at the end of the talk, they all had questions and I realized they were all working on a podcast. So that was pretty interesting. I realized they were actually there because they cared. We went to Central Union High School in Imperial Valley to meet the students that created the podcast Voices del Valle.
It was pretty amazing how talented some of them were, but just being able to encourage that and water those plants and, you know, help them realize the power that they do have in their voices and in their storytelling was really cool.
The first presentation closest to the border on the U.S. side. And we got to meet a lot of transborder folk.
We said why we think it's so important that port of entry exists right now in this specific time.
All Things Considered is one of the biggest platforms in public media. Everybody knows about them, but it was an oh my God, oh my God, oh my God moment.
I wrote some bullet points and I have my computer, and I remember Alan was so relaxed. He was just like, yeah, just go with the flow. And I was like,
That's it for this year. We have a lot of exciting updates and stories to share with you this upcoming year, so stay tuned for more. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. Y nos vemos pronto.
We hope you enjoyed this look at KPBS News this week. I'm John Carroll. Thank you for joining us.